What can women do, but when men do it, it's a big no. Casually touch people. I used to grow my hair out and had these long curly locks. The gals at work for whatever reason felt like it was okay to just come up and touch them without asking. I am sitting there thinking, if I walked up to any girl in the department and ran my hand through their hair, just to feel it, I would be in HR quicker than I could explain myself. As a single father of daughters, I see a lot. Side-eye glares from mothers when I take pics of my kids at the park. Inability to hire a babysitter that isn't an expensive professional. When my ex-wife would be physically abusive towards me, I was told to man up, and it's not that big of a deal. Parents won't allow their kids, my kids' best friends and neighbors, to sleep over at my house. When out with the kids, I'd hear, "Oh, giving mom a break? No, I'm their fucking dad." Okay, I don't actually say that. I would smile and nod. When I was a stay-at-home dad, people said, "He doesn't work." But when a woman stays home, she's sacrificing for her family and is really family-focused. I was once at a party where there was a very physically abusive woman, an acquaintance of others present. She sat on various men's laps, pressed herself against them while dancing, put them in a stranglehold, and, for example, kissed their necks and finally grabbed their crotch at some point. Each of them got upset with her at some point, including the partners of the men concerned who were present, who couldn't believe their eyes' happy face. Hid from her, asked her to stop, or pushed her away at some point. There was a lot of hustle and bustle. Grinning face with sweat, but bottom line, she behaved in such an extreme way, I can't even describe it very well anymore, that I'm sure that if she had been a guy, the police would have been called right then and there. Grinning face with sweat. The office I used to work in had a policy where it hired summer casuals, who were going to uni in September each year to cover basic jobs while the peak summer leave kicked in. So we'd get an influx of temporary young people into the office each summer. Once, a higher-up manager, female, went round the office introducing this young lad to everyone. She introduced him to one bank of desks, all female, and said, "There you go, girls. Gives us something pretty to look at all summer, doesn't it?" And I remember thinking, if a 50-something old man introduced a 17-year-old girl to a group of men old enough to be her father that way, he'd be lucky to only be fired. I once was changing at the pool, and a mom walked straight into the full male change room to check on her son. I kicked her out and reported it. Nothing happened. If I did that for my daughter, I'd be arrested and put on a list. There are family change rooms where families can go, and each individual has their own stall to change. There are also bigger stalls if someone needs assistance. So there is a female change room, a male change room, and a family change room. All the same size. Engage in low-level physical abuse to their partner. And no, I am not saying men should be able to do this. Talk to strangers' kids. Casual violence in language in relation to partners, "I could throttle my husband," is seen as a light-hearted statement to express anger. But if a man said the same thing about his wife, everyone would have a problem. Walk into the men's room because the women's room line is long. Make a sweeping gender-based generalization. Say, "I hate opposite gender." Inappropriately touching people on purpose apparently. Least basing on double standards, like those Justin Bieber fan women when he was 12, Cardi B. Well, more of that was drugging, but still. Kicking boys in the scrotum in cartoons, female teachers with little boys, etc. I know it's a crime, still it gets a lot more acceptance in the public, at least in the West. I heard a conversation at work a few ago where a group of young women said they would never be with a man who sat on the toilet for a pee. As a bloke, I can say sitting down for a pee is great and stops any splashes. Stealing and wearing clothes from the opposite sex partner. Go in the women's locker room.